Good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Mahalia Joseph and C News is live at noon. Topping the news at this time, within the next week, residential property owners can expect to receive the valuation return forms in their mail, and the Ministry of Finance is asking people to submit the forms in a sealed envelope to any of the 8 offices of the Valuation Division by Monday, May 22nd, 2017. This as government starts the implementation of the 2009 property tax regime. Rishi Harinanan has more.
According to the Ministry of Finance, the 2009 system of taxation is geared towards simplifying the process of property owners and the government. It also includes uniform tax rates. Payment can be made at any district revenue office, regardless of where the property is located, computerized billing, and the online availability of information on the valuation process. In this regard, the ministry said all property owners are now required to complete a valuation return form in accordance with the Valuation of Land Act Chapter 5803 and return with supporting documents to the Valuation Division of the Ministry of Finance for the calculation of the property's annual rental value. If a property owner does not get the VRF in the mail, they can collect from any office of the Valuation Division, or the forms can be downloaded from the Ministry of Finance website at www.finance.gov.tt/property tax. The ministry explained VRFs should be submitted in a sealed envelope to any of the 8 offices of the Valuation Division by Monday, May 22nd, 2017. The ministry stated upon receipt of the completed VRF, the Commissioner of Valuation may notify property owners of field visits to assess and verify the information submitted on the forms. After this, any field visits that are deemed to be necessary will be conducted. Property owners would be required to make payment upon receipt from the Board of Inland Revenue of an assessment notice, which will be sent by post. The notice will advise of the tax liability and the deadline for payment. Rishi Harinanan, C News.
A 47-year-old Penal man is dead after he was chopped near his home on Tuesday evening. He has been identified as Devanand Ramsingh of Mathura Avenue, Chalu village. Residents told police at around 5 p.m. they saw Ramsingh on the side of the road bleeding. He had suffered chop wounds to the head. He was taken to the hospital but died while undergoing treatment. A 15-year-old boy is said to have accidentally hanged himself while playing behind his grandmother's home. C News was told at around 12:30 p.m. yesterday, Luke Roll, who was vacationing at his grandmother's home in Cedar Hill, Claxton Bay, told her he was going to play on a swing which was made with rope. She told us his mother then called to speak with him and another child went to get him. However, the child returned and said Luke was not responding. Upon checking, the grandmother found the teen with the rope around his neck. Police are investigating the matter. The Minister of Works and Transport, Rohan Sinanan, is expected to make a statement today on how government plans to move forward with the Super-Fast Galicia, which is set to depart on Friday. Both the Minister and Prime Minister have given the assurance a solution will be sought in the shortest possible time with the resources they have available. According to Minister Sinanan, he has held talks with the board of the Port Authority, and as it stands, they continue to meet. A decision is supposed to be announced today. The media conference is expected to take place at 1 p.m. David Walker wants to know why government sat on this issue for over 18 months without ensuring measures were in place in the eventuality of this happening. The contract with the owner of the Super-Fast Galicia was on a month-to-month basis. He wants to know why enter such a contract for such a crucial service.
Even if it was first entered into by the previous regime, we really need an answer as to why even this regime has sat and allowed that to happen for this period of time. And I'm very concerned about the way we're going about the process of rectifying the situation. First of all, there seems to be an unnecessary degree of secrecy. It's almost the default modus operandi of all regimes.
There was a meeting with business associations and the Prime Minister in Tobago over the weekend. However, details as to exactly what was said were not given. Mr. Walker said, unlike some, he is not willing to trust the Prime Minister and his ability to deal with the issue in such short notice.
From which we are told nothing, except that we should trust the Prime Minister. Now, I'm not prepared to trust the Prime Minister on this because the Prime Minister has overseen the 18 months when nothing has happened. And I do not believe that a solution can be found, an adequate solution, in the 2 days before Friday. It's simply not feasible. So them telling me that there will be a solution by Friday really causes more concern, because if they really do believe that, then we're in even more trouble than we are right now.
This is the C News Live Report at noon. Remember, you can keep up to date with all the latest news on our website at ctvtt.com, or you can check out our Facebook and Twitter pages at C News Live. Director at the Center for Human Development, Hanif Benjamin, is agreeing with a recent report which says the schools are breeding criminals. Speaking on Good Morning Trinidad and Tobago a short while ago, he explained that the system is not focused on children but the results, and when needed, help is not given.
We are result focused. Let's just start there. We are result driven. We are data driven. We want press conferences to say that 50% and 20% and 30%. We are not taking time to understand student. And from the time you are not or paying attention to student in a student environment, then what exactly are we doing?
Mr. Benjamin said the system either looks at the very bright children or the troublemakers, and the other 90% of students are neglected. He said students may show signs of issues affecting them, however the attention is not given, contributing to the problem.
Most times it's used that they have no control over. It's used that requires the adults to deal with. And unfortunately, we don't have the adults dealing with that situation for them. What we look at, Ria, most times are the end results. We look at the bad child. We look at the child who misbehaving. We look at the child who disruptive. We look at the child who smoked the weed. But no one, Ria, is looking at the child before that.
However, the Ministry of Education says it has guidance officers and counselors at every secondary school throughout the 7 education districts, and it will be seeking to increase the number of student support services in the various disciplines, including the Development and Assessment Intervention Unit, who play an integral role in supporting the success of the programs and initiatives by the Student Support Services Division. The ministry went on to say it continues to utilize the services of clinical and behavioral psychologists employed by the Ministry of Education, both internally and externally. To some other news now, Chairman of the National Gas Company, Jerry Brooks, says he is cautiously optimistic about the future of the energy company, despite the company recording an 87% decline in profits. Mr. Brooks was speaking before the Public Accounts Enterprises Committee this morning.
In the area of performance, a review of NGC reveals a 25% decline in sales between the 2013 to 2015 period. Sales would have reduced from 17.4 to 13.1 billion. Gross profit would have reduced from 4.87 billion to 2.352 billion, 2.2 billion reduction, and profit after tax fell from 4.442 billion to 0.605 million.
He said while the company is grappling to manage its affairs efficiently, the challenge is not exclusive to the Trinidad and Tobago energy industry. He is confident the existing staff has the skill set and determination to take the company to a more secure standing. Now for the weather for the period this afternoon and tonight, mainly sunny, hazy and at times breezy. There is the small chance of the shower. Tonight will be mostly clear and warm. Seas are normal to moderate, waves up to 2.5 meters in open waters. Long period northerly swells are affecting the near-shore areas around Tobago, as well as the northern and sheltered coastlines of Trinidad. All marine users are advised to exercise extreme caution in all sea-related activities, as these areas would experience above normal sea conditions for the next 12 to 24 hours. The President General of the All Trinidad General Workers Trade Union, Nirvan Miraj, is calling on the Minister of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries, Clarence Rambarat, to state exactly what is the status concerning the distribution of lands and leases to ex-Caroni workers, and also the status of the infrastructural development of the lands. He said in this time of economic downturn and an increasingly volatile industrial climate, those in authority must not be allowed to forget that there are thousands of ex-Caroni workers waiting not on a gift or a handout, but on a legal entitlement due to them by law. On April 4, 2017, 708 former employees of Caroni's 1975 were given leases to one residential lot of land and 2-acre plots for agriculture. A letter to the central bank governor questioning its transactions with CL Financial in relation to its bailouts was redelivered today. Former head of the Joint Consultative Council, Afra Raymond, who took the bank to court over this matter, told the C News they are hoping for the right thing to be done.
Yeah, the letter was signed by my colleague Rishi Maharaj from the President today, David Walker and myself, and we were calling on the central bank governor to provide certain information about how this bailout of CL Financial was being handled in accordance to the Central Bank Act. The letter was delivered on the 31st of January 2017, which was the 8th anniversary of this tragic bailout, and we haven't had a reply or an acknowledgement from the governor or his office. Hence our redelivery of the letter today that was publicized to the media. Hopefully the correct action to be taken now and the matter to be treated with some sort of accountability to the public.
He explains how his court case did not yield the results expected.
I went to court and I won my case against the Ministry of Finance on 22nd of July 2015. Well, the Ministry of Finance on the 10th of August 2015, the then Minister of Finance, the Honorable Larry Hawaii, he appealed. And of course, there was an election on the 7th of September. We all know about it.
Today's delivery, Mr. Raymond hopes, will bear the fruit which will clear up the matter, not only for him and his colleagues, but also for the nation. This country's Carifta track and field team returned home from Curacao after 3 days of competition in the Dutch-speaking island. There was some good news for the track and field fraternity from Sports Minister Daryl Smith, and here's Ken Fuentes with more.
After 3 days of competition and the 22 medals won, the team arrived at the Piaco International Airport to a small reception. The games will move to the Bahamas in 2018. And with the games last coming to these shores in 2005, Minister of Sport Daryl Smith says he will support the bid to host the games here in 2019.
I was talking to Ephraim that we are also pushing the sports tourism drive, because you know the oil and gas prices, we have to do certain things to diversify away from that. And we have all these fantastic facilities that we have. And I want to let you know that I'm going to be pushing where the entry is to host the 2018 or 2019 Carifta Games in Trinidad once again.
Khalifa St. Fort, who won the girls under 20 sprint double, praised the team for the support they showed to one another.
But this has been one of the best experiences for me. Like Mr. Voisier and Mr. Serrat has said, the vibe of the team was definitely different this year. It was a lot better. We were there for one another, supported one another, and definitely encouraged one another to do better.
Team manager Dexter Voisier praised the athletes for the way in which they conducted themselves and expressed his gratitude to them.
This is an opportunity to show and to express my gratitude for the performance of the team this year, and as our chairperson would have said, it's definitely an improvement from last year. However, I've been managing several Carifta teams and it is not the best performances that we would have seen, but definitely this performances in 2017 will augur well in terms of how we reorganize and how we set our goals for the future.
President of the N3's Ephraim Serrat, while also praising their effort, encouraged them to look beyond the Carifta.
The Carifta Games is the first event for our junior athletes. You all now have to see yourselves not as just junior events this year, but you all are the future. When we talk 2020 Olympics, that's your next target. And you need to start putting in place your short-term and medium-term goals in order to be at 2020.
Trinidad and Tobago has also won the bid to host the Carifta Swimming, Water Polo and Open Water Swim in 2019, which fits into track and field's bid to do the same for one grander games. Kent Fuentes, C Sports.
That's the C News Report at noon. I'm Mahalia Joseph. Remember, for up-to-date and breaking news throughout the day, you can visit the C News website at ctvtt.com. Have a good afternoon.